Good morning, welcome to Morning Reviews. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 20th of March. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see, we've already recovered the full amount of Friday's losses, if you like, and head, currently we're heading back towards double top territory on the 4 hourlies here. I'm just looking, there's a bit of divergence potentially coming through with that, so we need to watch for that. Although we could still be on for the previous February's highs there. Still was a possibility that was just over the 108 area. Looking at the bodies, they're just slightly short of 108 on that. If you were looking at the targets on that upside, but still got some potential upside there. Now, from a looking at the 4 hourly chart, looking at the weekly pivot is below us, so any sort of double tops here and any signs of weakness coming through may give us a signal to try and trade back towards that level, but we've already gone through the daily pivot, the R1. Maybe a lesser chance of that happening today. But we'll have to just see how this market is. It does look, these pivots do look a tad on the pinch side. So we could, these daily pivots, so we could well come down to that sort of level. Okay, that's the euro. Looking at the pound. Just looking, sorry, at the news as well. There's not a lot of news today, so quite down the news front. Well, the pound's continued. You can see the momentum's easing a little bit in terms of the size of these daily bars. So, okay, today's is not finished yet, but we are heading towards that monthly pivot. Certainly a potential that we could push on further for that. However, again, we've got a weekly pivot untouched below. Generally, these get hit quite early on, but we'll see how we run through this morning. Also got a daily pivot untouched on the pound, so any sort of key reversals this morning on the shorter time frames may give us a bit of a trade back to those levels, but at the moment it is looking relatively bullish on these markets, so it's a case of not wanting to stand in the way, but as I say, maybe opportunities later on. Dollar yen, not seeing such a big movement here. It's much more consolidated where it's sitting at the moment. It's again got a weekly pivot above us, possible areas of retracement. Doesn't mean so I'm looking at this completely from a bearish point of view, but daily and weekly pivots on the yen above, perhaps a break of that 21 moving average, 60-minute 21 that is, could see us pushing towards at least the daily pivot, as I say, maybe the weekly pivot there. Break of the lows, well, we could be on for a bit of more continuation, sort of looking back towards that 112 area potentially at the moment, but we're just sort of bouncing off the 112.50 at this point. Okay, Aussie dollar. Aussie's had another shove up into its monthly R1 here, finding a bit of resistance at that point. Prior highs up there as well. Bit of a funny old pattern here. I do wonder from the bigger picture whether we'll roll from here a little bit more. Just looking at reaction, quite an early reaction to that monthly R1, as I said, untouched daily pivot, weekly pivot below. Again, maybe if it breaks, it's in this case the 60-minute 8 or 60-21, may give a bit more of a clue to a bit of a correction for that, but often can be quite slow through our session. Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar looks like it's sort of put in a bit of a bear flag, trying to move further south. Bit of between a rock and a hard place at the moment. The weekly pivot is just above again, so looking that would be another test towards the daily 8, that combination. If it does push back up there, I need to just check on what oil's up to. Oil's looking weak again, which could also, any dollar weakness along with this weakness in oil could see the Canadian dollar push up a bit sharper. Still not managed to break Thursday's lows there. At the moment, again, well, this is a bit more in a bit more corrective stance at the moment, but it's already caught the daily pivot on the Canadian dollar, but could go back up and test that sort of area. And as I say, the weekly pivot above there. Certainly, at the moment, these markets they sort of move through this Asian session quite gradually, not overly sharp. It's not like it's a sudden movement or anything else, but they've moved up, and there is the potential that they'll give some of this back. We'll have to watch this morning and just take care with this, I guess. News-wise, there's very little in terms of significant news out this morning. There's some really low data, low value data coming out. House price index already come out for UK. Other data, it's very low effective data. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.